Gwen Stefani, a pop-punk hero who later became a country crossover queen, had always been a master at combining vulnerability with swagger in her music. At the age of 56, she continued to captivate audiences with her vivacious energy, and her characteristic red lipstick and platinum blonde hair were as recognizable as they had been for decades. However, in the autumn of 2025, fans were talking about more than just her most recent No Doubt reunion tour or her planned solo album. A single Instagram post, which was understated but packed with significance, caused the internet to analyze the current situation of her marriage to Blake Shelton, who is a renowned country music artist. It was a cool evening in October in Los Angeles, and Gwen was cuddled up in her home studio, which was a warm and inviting environment filled with old microphones, colorful tapestries, and photographs of her 3 sons. She was so engrossed in the process of producing a new song that she completely ignored the notifications that were flashing on her phone. The lyrics were authentic, a mixture of the highs and lows of love, as well as the quiet hardships of juggling fame, family, and a marriage that was in the public eye. Blake, her husband of 4 years, was in Nashville, where he had just finished recording for his upcoming album. He had been there for a week. Although the distance between them was not new, their occupations frequently brought them apart. Fans had recently detected a change in the situation. Fewer combined appearances, and no overly emotional posts on the anniversary. Gwen and Blake, the golden pair of the music industry, were rumored to be in a precarious situation, according to the rumor mill. While Gwen was scrolling through her camera roll, she came across a photograph that was taken at their ranch in Oklahoma. Blake was wearing a flannel shirt and smiling as he held a fishing rod beside the lake. Gwen's reflection was just visible in the water as Blake snapped the picture. The photograph was impromptu and was taken over a rare weekend off. The picture had a personal quality, like a private moment in the midst of a tumultuous environment. Following a brief pause, she proceeded to create a caption that read, "Finding peace in the quiet moments. Expressed gratitude for the roots that we have established. #LoveLiveShare." After adding a heart emoji, she pushed the post button. It was a riot on the internet. Fans squinted their eyes at the photograph, perusing each and every feature. Could that be a reflection of Gwen? She is not in the picture. Why is that? A comment was made. The caption seems to be somewhat mysterious. Another person pondered, is there trouble in paradise? Others, however, saw promise. Roots that we have planted. What a sweet and heartfelt message to Blake. The argument was amplified by posts, with hashtags such as #GwenandBlake and #LoveLiveShare trending. Within a few hours, People magazine published an article titled "Gwen Stefani's latest post hints at strength in her marriage to Blake Shelton." In point of fact, Gwen and Blake's marriage was a rich tapestry of both happiness and difficulties. She was Gwen from Gavin Rossdale, and Blake was from Miranda Lambert. They had met on The Voice in 2014, 2 broken souls going through the process of being divorced. It was impossible to deny the undeniable chemistry that existed between them, which consisted of a combination of humorous banter and shared beliefs. They had married the knot in a rustic ceremony in Oklahoma by the year 2021, with Gwen wearing a Vera Wang dress that was made to order and Blake wearing denim. The anchor of their lives was their blended family, which consisted of Gwen's sons Kingston, Zuma, and Apollo, as well as Blake, who was their adoring stepfather. However, stardom became unrelenting. When it came to Blake's country prominence, studio sessions and pub gigs were the norm, but Gwen's pop-rock empire required her to go on tours and sign brand partnerships. The distance of 2,000 miles that separated Los Angeles and Nashville could feel like a gap at times. On that particular evening, Gwen phoned Blake using FaceTime, her voice being soft. "Babe, the fans are losing it over that lake pic." She joked as she tucked a strand of hair behind her ear so that she could conceal it. The sound of Blake's chuckle could be heard through the phone. "Darvin, let them talk about it. They are not familiar with us. That was a wonderful day, wouldn't you say? You were so focused on getting that shot that you almost fell into the ocean." Gwen cracked a grin as she recalled. "Yeah, and instead of helping me raise myself up, you laughed at me. A jerk." Over the course of their conversation, The comfort of their connection was able to cut through the distance. Nevertheless, Gwen's tone changed. "Are you sure that we are fine? With everything that's going on, chaos?" Blake's eyes seemed to soften. "Don't worry, Gwen, everything is okay. It's just us. Although it requires effort, I would pick you every single darn day." As she went back to her song, Gwen's thoughts continued to dwell on the dialogue before her. "Through the noise, I hear your heart/miles apart, but never far," was the song's words, and they suddenly came out. A reference to their shared life, including the ranch, the children, and the love that endured through the storms. She gave it the title "Roots We Planted." A demo was provided to Blake, who responded with a text message saying, "Damn, woman, that concludes our tale. Let's jot it down together, shall we?" In the following week, Gwen took a flight to Nashville. During her arrival at the airport, she was photographed by paparazzi, which led to headlines such as "Gwen joins Blake in Nashville. Marriage back on track." She chose to disregard the noise and proceed directly to Blake's studio, which was a barn that had been converted into a safe haven filled with guitars and whiskey bottles. Blake gave her a bear hug and greeted her with his cowboy hat cocked to the side. "Are you prepared to perform some enchantment, Mrs. Shelton?" The recording process took a considerable amount of time, with Gwen's pop soul vocals weaving in with Blake's gravelly twang. This song was described as "a banger with heart" by the producer, Shane McAnally. While they were filming, they shared stories about their early days together, such as Blake teaching Gwen how to fish and Gwen pulling him to yoga. But they also discussed the more difficult aspects, such as the strain of scheduling and the pressure of being scrutinized by the public. Gwen revealed, with her voice scarcely audible above a whisper, that there are times when she feels as though she is failing you. Her hand was taken by Blake. "Gwen, you are my entire world. There's no other light that shines brighter than that." The release of Roots We Planted some weeks later caused it to skyrocket, reaching the top of the pop and country charts. The words were studied by fans, who were able to sense the tenacity of the couple. "We bend, we don't break/loves the roots we make." Gwen and Blake were shown together in the music video, which was shot at their ranch. They were seen laughing, dancing, and real. It convinced those who had doubts that their connection was unshakable. A listening party for the record was held by Gwen while she was back in Los Angeles. During the celebration, her sons played about. Blake made a video call from a tour stop, and pals including artists Pharrell and Carson Daly hailed the couple's success. Once more, Gwen shared a selfie on her Instagram account, this time featuring Blake's face on the call screen. The message read, "Together always. I am grateful to you all for your love. Our roots were planted." Even though the message went viral, Gwen and Blake had already moved on to the next stage of their relationship. It was their intention to have a peaceful Thanksgiving at the ranch, with only the two of them and the children present. During the process of packing, Gwen discovered a note from Blake nestled inside her bag. The note said, "You are my roots, my wings, and my everything." With love, B, it was the lake, the studio, and the life that they had established that held the key to their truth. She smiled, knowing that the world may conjecture, but the truth was in the peaceful moments. Gwen's post turned out to be more than simply a clue in the end. The statement was a proclamation that although their marriage was not flawless, it was theirs, deeply established, and getting stronger over time.